Alright, hey everyone. So I'm gonna try and do a crypto rant video, but this crypto rant video is not really gonna be so ranty. It's gonna be a lot more just focused on like user interface stuff that I brought up in the last crypto rant video, but I didn't really go into enough detail about it. Like, I mean, I kind of did, but I just want to kind of update on new changes that have come into play with the current, the current um, well, new stuff that's happened. So like the scatter wallet has been updated, and this is pretty interesting, but it's still like way too complicated because I don't understand why everything can't just be kind of rolled into one interface. Like why when I click on this, why does it take me to another thing and then I gotta have to scroll? Like I'm scrolling and sure, I guess I could resize the wallet or something like that. I can like full screen it. Why would I need to do that though? And why is scrolling necessary? So here's what I'm just gonna come out and say this. Well, make it so that like when I click on one of my wallets, it brings down like a list of things like how many tokens I have, my resources, my blah blah blah, like attached to I don't know whatever you could think of. Everything that's conveyed here should just be like here, and that's it. So like permissions, oh, but I realize that maybe permissions would be a tab up here, and then I click on that, and then I'll be like for maybe each wallet has its own permission. I don't know. The thing is like whatever the hell's going on here, this ain't it, because I could see this being like 10,000 times more simplistic than it currently is right now, and yeah, like I really want to just like click this, see a list of like the different ones. I click on that, I can see all the tokens that I have right here, and then maybe that can scroll. But like, how do I get to my I gotta click on this. Like, how do I? Come on. All right, so this is a step in the right direction, but yeah, minus some points on like ease of use or something because I'm not really sure what the fuck I'm looking at. Like, not just that though. This is an improvement because at least it shows like a bar, but it doesn't show my any actual numbers. Like, I guess in the case of net and CPU, it's always just going to end up being cryptic. In the case of RAM though, there's kilobytes, right? So like, maybe it should tell me how many kilobytes I'm using versus how many kilobytes I own. But it doesn't really say anything. It just kind of it just doesn't it doesn't tell me the actual numbers. But at least this conveys to me something along the lines of like, hey, check it out. I have, X amount of resources, and this is how much I'm currently using. This is a big improvement. I haven't really actually gone through and used any dapps extensively enough to see what happens like when this starts to get full. Does it end up at 600% randomly or anything like that? But I don't think that's going to be the case in this particular moment. Manage, and then manage. Why can't I just have manage? Why is there 3 manages? Anyway, yeah, like all this shit should be one interface. I should just be like, click, see the list, like have it be a drop down, everything moves down or something. Actually, don't even do that. Don't even minimize it. Like, how many fucking wallets are people using? Like, I can see maybe, alright, maybe you have 10 wallets, but like, why not just like, let me scroll down a list of 10 wallets, right? I got my search keys if I feel like it. Like, just don't even make it so I have to click on it. Just be like, here's this one, and then like over here, bullet point, and then tokens, resources, blah blah blah, delegations, blah blah blah. Maybe even if it's a fairly long list, just make it there, and then when I click on it, it just changes this. There you go. All right. So next bit of feedback, I'm just gonna. I mean, it's not even really ranting so much. Okay, so I got a lot to say about in terms of like Novusphere's changes and stuff like that, and the direction that things are currently going right now. I'm gonna be using Steemit as an example. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna have to go through this because there's an awful lot to say, and I'm gonna try and keep things as condensed as possible, but it's difficult because I don't really want this to be a super long fucking 30-minute video. But all right, so one of the things that's really, Reddit really gets right away is the size of these things are, they're a specific size. I've noticed with Novusphere, people can make these like gigantic posts, and then I have to actually scroll for a long time. There's no like, you know what I mean? And not all the time. Like sometimes randomly when I click on one of these links, it takes me to a different page rather than lets me stay within Novusphere. See, if I'm browsing in Novusphere, I just want to stay in Novusphere, but it's not even consistent. This is actually kind of a weird thing. It's probably a bug. Like for example, if I go in the music tab and I click this, it takes me to YouTube, right? But if I click this one, it works properly and takes me here, right? So like, you know what I mean? Like if I click this, it should take me here. You know what I mean? And then I can immediately start responding and doing stuff like that. One of the other things too that's really cool is if you look on Steemit, um, whenever I'm making a new thread, or like if I click on new on Novusphere, I don't know. This is a thing that's up to you guys, but like hey, it's not the end of the world if you don't do this, but it's really cool being able to see my formatting and stuff like that already on the preview all the way down there, because one of the things that's really interesting is being able to see a preview very seamlessly, and this is like one of the few things that Steemit actually gets right, right from the get-go, and I think that that's actually really cool. But there's some things that Steemit gets wrong from right away, and that is, this is the sort of stuff that Novusphere does really well. Well, for example, I could subscribe to the different tags, whereas in Steemit, they list all of the tags here. I like that the tags are listed here, but I can't subscribe to them. There's nothing I could do. I can't subscribe to these damn things, so I'm forced to look at like life and photography. Like, get the fuck out. Like, what the fuck is KR? I don't even know what it is. I don't want it there. It's in my face, and I don't give a shit. And so, you know what I mean? Ah, like, why is Steemit still so stagnant? I don't know, but whatever. If I had a little checkbox next to these or a way to subscribe and only show the ones that I'm subscribed to, like all tags could just be like my fucking tags. That way I can look at my feed and actually see only the stuff that I care about. That'd be really cool. But this is the sort of stuff that Novusphere is getting right from the get-go at this point in time. Another thing to keep in mind is that uh, let's see. So, your thumbnails are a really great opportunity for something that's a little bit different. I noticed that there's a thumbnail, right? Now, the thumbnail thing is really cool, but if the thumbnails were larger, then you would allow for propagation of memetics, which is something that's very important in places like 4chan and stuff like that. One of the reasons that 4chan is so effective at propagation of memetics, is that you can actually post images to your posts, and the posts can be a meme, and those memes can then grow and change and modify, and they can be a part of the post. And you should probably look into making something where, it's like 4chan is an image board, but it's really good at what it does. So like if I want to make a cool, for fuck's sake, even just frog post or something like that, you know what I mean? You just see the picture of the annoyed frog staring at you, and then say, and then just have like a simple post where it's just a thread where it's just like, do you actually believe this bullshit? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff adds a lot of character, and adds an awful lot of value in terms of propagation of memetics and things of that nature. And it's kind of a missed opportunity if your thumbnails are this tiny. All right, so another thing that I noticed is that yeah, I guess it would get pretty annoying having the post where if there's a bunch of Reddit things, maybe the icon size is really good if nobody posts actual any images. That's actually, this is fine if it's just a fucking Reddit post with no images or anything like that. Then just fucking show the icon and maybe just leave it the regular size. But if somebody posts like a cool picture of this like hot chick and like she's firing like Uzis or something, you know what I mean, or like having like I don't know, anything. any kind of content where it's like somebody drew something that was really cool or whatever, and or a meme or something like that, then allowing for it to be a full size, a reasonably sized image and have it be part of the post's content is actually really cool. Another thing I noticed is that the size of the posts can be ridiculous. Like, um, in this particular case, I don't, maybe I might be repeating myself actually, but you see here, like on Steam it, you could see like, okay, if I click on this, I get a very specific sized post. All right, if I click on this, it gives me a little bit of a preview. Reddit already does this. I don't know exactly why Novusphere isn't already doing this too, but I can see people um, trolling. I can see people doing all kinds of weird stuff, uh, which I'm gonna get to this in a second. But like, look at this gigantic post, and it just like completely dwarfs everything, and there's not really that much I can like do to avoid it. Also, too, um, while I'm at it, the next thing doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, if you're looking at like with Steam, if I look at my if I look at my Reddit account, right? Like I have a zillion tags that I just have, and you know what I mean. And in the case of Steam, they like force me to like have a bunch of tags. I don't even know what the fuck they are, and it's annoying as fuck. But in the case of this, like I can easily picture there being like a huge list of tags that they won't even fit up here, right? Like that's one of the reasons why this having like a side tab where it just shows like all of my tags down, down this way might actually make a lot of sense. This is probably one of the things that Steam gets right in the process of getting things wrong, because having like a list right here with all of the tags that I'm subscribed to would probably make more sense, because at least that list can get very large. And with that in mind, the next thing, like, it doesn't really, first of all, it's not even really that good because it doesn't convey exactly what the fuck next means. Like next post, next, it's talking mostly about like, I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but um yeah, I don't know. So with this said, this brings up a really interesting thing that this is an advertisement or spam or whatever the fuck it is, whatever it is. All right, somebody's got 1,002 upvotes on this page, right? And you know that those are fake, or those whatever. Like I doubt it's exactly 1,000 upvotes. It's kind of weird. But basically, the way the algorithm sets this up is that it's always going to be on the top of popular. This thing's probably never going to go anywhere because nobody's going to be able to get rid of it. Um, but this is basically an advertisement. Now, one of the things that's actually pretty interesting about Steemit, but they get it wrong like massively, but it's a really good idea, is that there's this thing called promoted posts where you can actually spend SBD, which is their Steam backed dollars, to promote a post, and anyone can promote any post that they want, and then the top promoted posts get listed at the top of this list. The only thing is that this is just a really shitty way to do it, because promoted might as well not exist, because no human being uses it. No one's going to click promoted ever. It doesn't make any sense to me, and this actually kind of makes me a little bit incensed because of the fact that the CEO of Steemit has actually talked about putting like fucking ads on Steemit so that it can remain solvent during a market crash. Well, okay, so if that's the case, then why not just make use of your fucking already existing promoted thing, because that works the same way, and it does actually raise the value of SBD, because it gives SBD a reason to fucking exist in the first place, because it's not a very good stable coin if it can't stay stable. Anyway, so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just say, like, this is a good idea, but it has to be over here or something. You know what I mean? It can't just be like, it can't just be like shoveled off to the side here, right? And that, in this particular case, like if there was a top list of promoted things that cost Atmos, anyone can promote a post using Atmos, and it's a little bit easier than this, and then they can get that post with a little thumbnail, the title of the post, maybe a link or something like that, and then I can click it, and it's sort of like advertising done within the system, which also gives value to the cryptocurrency that's used on the platform itself, which in this case would be Atmos. It would be really, useful to do that, because now you don't really have advertising, with external links and all kinds of garbage like that. You literally could just have somebody, promote posts, and they don't necessarily even need to be advertisements. They could just be posts, like somebody makes a video and they want to get a music video, and they want to make sure that a certain amount of people actually see the music video. So what they do is they just they promote it $100 worth of Atmos or something, and that Atmos goes to you guys for whatever reason, or maybe gets destroyed like SBD does, because SBD actually gets destroyed when you promote a post. But whatever it does is put the top 10 or maybe the top 5 most promoted posts, on a side bar over here, and then that kind of makes things really, nice. And that also kind of coincides with something that's a little bit more interesting now. Is okay, this is the final thing. So the last feature that I think would really make a lot of sense, in my opinion, and this is something that I've wanted for a very long time on pretty much every fucking social media page. This is like a killer fucking feature that would really be fucking nice for a change. A button or a checkbox that I can click, even if it is on the blockchain, that says I've already seen this post. All right, so then I can have a tab over here for posts you've already seen, posts you haven't seen yet, right? Like, I could have like a tab like that, right? Or maybe it would be here. Well, whatever. Even if I write it to the blockchain. So what does this do? This does a lot of things at the same time, okay? There's actually a lot of reasons to do this. First of all, if somebody posts something that's really annoying and I've seen it the first time, I can click check, and then it's, from now on my wallet, it's marked on the blockchain, I've already seen this post. Well, you can have a number for the number of people who have already seen the post, which is a form of telemetry. And that's one of the most important things that social media actually provides, is a sort of form of a form of telemetry, showing like, wow, 10,000 people have seen this post before. They've all marked it as seen, right? Now, that's actually pretty interesting functionality. Not only that, because once you provide people with a form of telemetry that was not available before, they will begin using that telemetry as a way to measure things in terms of success or popularity or whatever. Like the most upvoted, upvotes obviously can be faked, but a number of people who've seen something, like, I guess that can be faked as well. But in a way, it's not upvoting it, it's just saying, I've seen this before. I know what this is, you know what I mean? And this sort of telemetry will coincide with delegated moderation, because, if you have a moderator who's very popular and people utilize that moderator by a lot, it'll matter to them if if that moderator censors them, for example, right? It kind of gives it gives moderators just the right amount of tooth to be able to actually matter more in the grand scheme of things, while at the same time not making it a matter of freedom of speech. If somebody says something, they could say it off into the ether and they don't get banned, what I mean? But maybe fewer people see it, or maybe the popularity of the post will have to be garnered more organically than because of some moderator that didn't like what was said on that post. This actually provides a sort of ebb and flow to that entire system, whereas right now it's like, basically moderators are kind of screwed, right? But this telemetry is useful not just for that, but right now in this page's earlier days, it'll say, yeah, X number of people have seen this. Yeah, there's maybe a few thousand people on who actually do use the page, and this is actually like a way for us to actually say, yes, people are actually using it. Maybe they're not talking, maybe they don't know how to get their wallet working, maybe, you know what I mean? It conveys a whole bunch of very useful information that you can glean from just that one kind of function all by itself, right? And to me, that right there, would be really useful. So like, I don't know. All right. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna end this now. Hope you enjoyed. And I realize it's not much of a crypto rant, more of a crypto feedback. But there you go. All right. Take it easy, guys.